The history of the Dahomey people is deeply intertwined with the Fon people, a West African ethnic group that resides primarily in what is now the Republic of Benin. According to oral histories, the kingdom's origins can be traced to a succession dispute within the Aya kingdom of Al-Ada in the 17th century. A group of Aya people, led by a prince named Dogbari, migrated north from Al-Ada to the Abumi Plateau. This migration, and a subsequent conflict with a local Gadivi chief named Dan, are central to the kingdom's founding myth. Legend says that after killing the chief, Dogbari's son, Dekadnu, declared that he would build his new kingdom in the belly of Dan, a phrase that gave rise to the name Dahomey, Dan Homan, or in the belly of Dan. The kingdom's foundational king is widely considered to be Hugbaja, circa 1645 to 1685. He is credited with establishing the royal palaces of Abumi, the capital, and initiating the aggressive military campaigns that would become a hallmark of the Dahomeyan state. Under his rule, Dahomey began its transformation from a small inland polity into a centralized and expansionist kingdom. Dahomey's rise to prominence began in earnest in the early 18th century under the reign of King Agaja, 1718 to 1740. Recognizing the strategic importance of the coastal slave trade, he set out to conquer the powerful coastal kingdoms of Al-Ada and Wida. By seizing these key ports in the 1720s, Dahomey gained direct control over the lucrative trade routes and the flow of goods and people to European traders. The kingdom's military was instrumental in this expansion. Dahomey's army was highly organized and disciplined, but what truly set it apart was its elite, all-female military regiment known as the Agoji, Fon 4, our mothers. The Europeans, in a nod to Greek mythology, famously dubbed them the Dahomey Amazons. These women were recruited from a young age, often from foreign captives or local women whose husbands or fathers had complained about their behavior. They underwent rigorous training that emphasized physical endurance, discipline, and a complete disregard for pain. The Agoji were a ferocious fighting force, renowned for their bravery and skill in battle. They constituted a significant portion of the Dahomeyan army, sometimes making up as much as a third of the total fighting force, and played a crucial role in the kingdom's military campaigns and slave raids. Dahomey's economy and political structure were profoundly shaped by its involvement in the transatlantic slave trade. With control of the coastal ports, the kingdom became a major supplier of enslaved people to European traders, primarily the Portuguese, Dutch, and British. The capture and sale of prisoners of war from neighboring states became the primary source of revenue for the Dahomeyan monarchy. The monarchy maintained a centralized political system, with the king at the top, supported by a council of ministers. The king's authority was reinforced through elaborate annual ceremonies known as the annual customs, or Akasubian, which included rituals, parades, and often, the public sacrifice of war captives. These events served to display the king's power and wealth, consolidate social cohesion, and legitimize the capture of enslaved people. In the mid-19th century, with the decline of the slave trade due to British abolitionist efforts and a naval blockade in 1852, Dahomey's economy had to adapt. Under King Izo, 1818 to 1858, the kingdom began to shift its focus toward other commodities, such as palm oil, although the slave trade continued on a smaller scale. This period marked a transition in Dahomey's economic strategy but did not end its reliance on a system built on conquest and human labor. Dahomeyan culture was rich and vibrant, with a sophisticated social structure and a deep spiritual belief system. The society was patrilineal, organized into polygynous family groups. The preservation of history and tradition was maintained through a strong oral tradition, with stories and genealogies passed down through generations. The spiritual life of the Dahomey people was centered on Vodun, a religion that recognized a supreme deity, Mawalisa, and a pantheon of powerful spirits known as Vodun. These spirits were believed to govern different aspects of nature and human experience. Ancestral veneration was also a cornerstone of their beliefs, as the spirits of deceased ancestors were thought to have significant influence over the lives of the living. The reverence for ancestors and the elaborate rituals of Vodun permeated all aspects of Dahomeyan life, from the king's authority to the daily routines of common people. Art and craft were highly developed in Dahomey. Royal palaces were adorned with intricate bas-reliefs depicting historical events and royal achievements, serving as a visual record of the kingdom's history. The Fon people also created beautiful sculptures, including statues and artifacts made of wood and metal, which were used to commemorate kings and other significant figures. The end of the 19th century brought Dahomey into direct conflict with French colonial ambitions in West Africa. Despite having resisted European colonization for longer than many of its neighbors, Dahomey's sovereignty was ultimately challenged by France's desire to secure trade interests and expand its empire. The Dahomey-French Wars, 1890 to 1894, were a series of military conflicts that pitted the Dahomeyan army, including the renowned Agoji, against the better-armed and technologically superior French forces. Under the leadership of King Behanzin, 1889 to 1894, Dahomey fought valiantly but suffered devastating losses. The French, led by General Alfred Amedee Dodds, systematically advanced on the kingdom's capital, Dahomey. In 1894, King Behanzin was captured and exiled, and the Kingdom of Dahomey was officially annexed by France, becoming a French colony. The legacy of the Dahomey people endures today in the modern Republic of Benin, which was named Dahomey until 1975. The royal palaces of Dahomey, now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, stand as a testament to the kingdom's power and history. The story of the Dahomey people, their formidable military, and their rich cultural heritage continues to influence the national identity of Benin and serves as a powerful reminder of the complex history of pre-colonial Africa and the impact of the transatlantic slave trade and European colonization.